Hello and welcome back to the workshop, where today we've got Accurascale's brand new model of the Class 31 on the layout for double O gauge. Mark, you've been taking a closer look at this, haven't you, for our review?
I have, and it's a very nice little model.
It certainly looks impressive as soon as it comes out of the box.
Yeah, and my experience of Class 31s, I can call back to probably around the 1970s, mid-70s, when, I think it was mid to late 70s, I want to say that. It was around the time I can remember seeing them going in and out of Portsmouth Harbour Station on Bristol cross countries, and the clank that they used to make coming into the station. They're just heavy locomotives.
Certainly were, weren't they? So I remember riding behind them on Scarborough turns from Huddersfield up to the coast. And that was a treat to have a ride out behind a 31 in one of the old pressure ventilator Mark IIs back then as well.
Right, okay. In many respects, one of those locomotives is sort of underrated for what they did, because they were a bit of a jack of all trade.
Yeah, I mean, they were started life in the pilot scheme, didn't they, at the end of the day? They were introduced part of the BR pilot scheme. They were then found to be a little bit wanting in terms of reliability with their original Mearleys power units. That was the Class 30, were the ones with the Mearleys power unit. They were then rebuilt in the late 1960s with new Inks electric power units, which then gave them the reliability that BR needed from them. Big class locos as well, 263 of these were built by Brush Traction for British Railways. And they were pretty much seen across most of the network, really.
They were, and they lasted for quite some time, didn't they? I mean, the last ones were still, I think, running with EWS.
Well, yeah, and there's
privatisation.
Yeah, indeed, and there's still some work beyond that, because had the ones that worked for Network Rail.
Yeah.
And there's still one mainline registered today, 31128 is still mainline registered. So,
yeah.
And still popular on preserved lines as well, because they're quite lightweight locos, plus whilst they've got a 3-axle bogie, they're an A1A wheel arrangement, which means they've got the drive to the outer axles, but the centre axle is a non-driving axle. It's a load-bearing axle instead, which does mean they can spread their weight around a bit more as well.
This is a lovely model. I mean, the specification that's on board is eye-watering, actually.
It is really quite tasty, isn't
because it's got 21-pin DCC decoder socket. You've also got a working fan, which operates as well. Very nice. It's got directional lights in the head code box, as well as it's also got the tail light, which you can control.
Yeah, because you can actually control the tail lights. You can either have 2 reds or 1 red at the rear, can't you?
Yes, and I think, if I remember rightly, from the buttons I was pressing, you can get it to go left or right on its own, which reminds me of, those days when I was, if we're going on a summer holiday, for example, down to the West Country, be at Reading Station, you might see one of those go through light engine. It would always have the left-hand red light as it trundled through, and I always remember.
Yeah, so, and it's even got lights in the cab control desk as well, isn't it?
Yes, it has. Yes, that all illuminates and looks really good. So it's got lots of nice features to it. It's got a very nice heavy weight to it as well.
And on top of that, it's also got the Acura Thrash speaker setup in there. Plus, it's got the Stay Alive pack being a sound-fitted version of it.
Yes, so it comes with all those wonderful little extras that we've become to get used to.
Yeah, that's right. So it's
the Accurascale model.
Yeah, it is quite interesting as well, because the Class 31 it's got a lot of competition at the moment as well. We've just seen another Bachmann model come through of the Class 31. So it's got to stand up against its rivals, and a lot of that, I think, sometimes comes from the specification, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely so. And I think it's like we've said on a number of occasions. Sometimes almost horses for courses. There's good bits and so on and so parts for each one. Yeah, positives from each model.
Yeah.
And this one has got that sort of. It's got a lovely paint finish. This one. I've got to say that the finesse around the front end in particular, you get all those little crisp details. It just captures all of those little elements.
Yeah, it does feel like it's very crisply modelled, this in every respect, does the Class 31 here from Accurascale. And it's like even all the details on top of the roof, you've got the separately fitted roof handles and stuff as well. The exhaust detail, the body side grills. I know there are variances on the body side grills. There's also variances for locomotives with and without boilers and boiler water fillers. This one being one with a boiler port on it.
Yes, this one's also got the steps. It's like
it has, yeah.
Plated over on some of the later ones.
That's right, yeah. And obviously, there's a lot of different variations of the Class 31 coming through as well from Accurascale, aren't they? So they're going back to filling some of the gaps that have never been done with Class 31s and doing some of the classics at the same time, aren't they?
Yes, so I think the blue ones are coming through first, and then I think it's greens, and then the various other colour schemes that have adorned, because there's something like 16 or so different. There's a lot just coming through.
A lot of different yeah, don't buy them all, man.
And there's probably there's a few limited editions as well, including
yes, there are, yeah.
a rather well-known limited edition. That,
our coal sector model of 31276, which obviously if you've been on the Key Model Order shop recently, you will see we are sold out on pre-orders on that at this time. We're just awaiting a final date for delivery for that for Accurascale. As things stand, as we're recording this video here today, but we're fingers crossed that by the end of this year it will be here with us.
Absolutely. So yes, nice model.
Certainly is. So in terms of delivery choices, like you said, there's lots to choose from. You've got the classic BR Blue scheme, which is available as a 31.0 like it is here. There's also the 31.4 subclass with the ETH fitted in BR Blue.
Yeah.
There's 31.4 subclass locos in Dutch and in City Mainline as well. You've got, like I said, the BR Green versions coming, both with and without small yellow warning panels.
Yeah.
Also interestingly, got some of the locos coming with the Tripcop equipment they were fitted with to work on the London Transport lines as well, weren't they?
That's right. So there's a really nice selection. And of course, there's, for example, the 31.4s, or at least some of them, had the white painted raised bead
yes,
around the body side and around the front as well. And there's one version of that coming out. There's a 31.4 with that and one without.
Yeah. And if you're after something a bit more modern for your Class 31 collection, then you can have a model of 31128 in its current form in BR Blue.
Yeah.
There's also the EWS and the mainline blue ones from the late 1990s, very early 2000s. There's they're doing two of the network rail ones as exclusive models. Our coal sector one, obviously. There's loads of choices when it comes to Class 30, and it's worth having a look around in the range to see what's actually coming up in terms of the last 31 limits. Well, important questions now, Mark. How much are they? And obviously we talked a little bit about when they're coming, but when are they all arriving?
So 169.99 for the DCC ready versions, 269.99 for the DCC sound fitted versions, and the first of the batches are literally here in the country now. So the BR Blues are here as we speak, and they're gradually being sent out to people as we record this video.
Indeed, and then the rest, like we say, are due to follow through the rest of this year as batches arrive in the country from Accurascale's factory, which has made all these models.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for chatting with us about this today, Mark. Great to look a little bit more closely at the Accurascale Class 31. If you want to read more and get Mark's full review in words and pictures, you can read it in the latest issue of Hornby magazine. That's issue 209, our November 2024 issue. Or if you're one of our digital subscribers, you can head over to keymodelworld.com and read all of our review there, plus more about the class if you go over to keymodelworld.com/class-31. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.